This is the AI King Russ Ward, and what I'm going to show you in this video is how to make a Facebook Messenger AI bot. So what we're going to do is we are going to follow the directions in the SOP that I made. You don't have to do this, but I highly recommend that you do. And I'm just going to log back into it. It says it updated for me. And you can see we have this whole thing. So if you need a Nifty account, Nifty is what I use for project management. It's very similar to ClickUp. You can go to their website. I'm going to put a link to get a free Nifty account below. And then all you'll do is you will import the SOP, and then you can follow the directions as well. What I do recommend is every time you do this, you just clone it, and then you can have the original in your account every time you need to clone it. Okay. So we're going to get started. And the very first thing you need to do before we connect Facebook or Instagram accounts to our high level account for doing this is you need to make sure that your Facebook and your Instagram accounts are connected together. So what I have made is, if you click in the SOP here, and I'll put this video below, is I made this video that shows you how to connect your Facebook and Instagram accounts together. Now, if you just want to use Facebook, you don't want to use Instagram, you don't have to worry about this. But if you want to use both of them, you have to go through this process and you have to connect these accounts together, because if you don't connect them together, then they won't import into high level properly. So that's what you have to do. So the first step is to do that. And like I said, if you don't care about Instagram, then just move on and don't worry about doing that. And you just connect Facebook to it. So then the next step is to actually confirm that Facebook is connected to your account. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that you did that if you want both. I'm going to go ahead and mark as completed. And then we're going to go over here to high level, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go down here into integrations. Okay. Now here is where we want to select our Facebook page. So I'm going to go and click. I think it says connected already. So I'm gonna connect the Facebook page. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And then we're gonna click connect. So a new page is gonna pop up. You're gonna see something like this. You need to make sure you're logged into your Facebook or Instagram account already, depending on which one you're doing. I'm going to make a video for both Facebook and Instagram. So in this case, make sure you're logged into the Facebook account where the business pages that you own and you want to use for this are. And I'm going to continue as Russ. And then it's going to give me the option to select some pages that I am an admin on. And like I said in the previous video, it shows you how to get it to this point. So it's going to do all this for you. So from this drop down, we're going to use Lead King AI bots, because I know I connected that. If you see this right here, that means that Facebook and Instagram are properly connected, and it's going to pull both of them in. So I'm going to click connect Facebook and Instagram. And then once it does its thing, it's going to take me back here, and you're going to see that it's going to say, you're going to see this, right? So we can see that we are connected to the Facebook page. You can add an ad account here, but that's another story for another day. So we are connected, so that's all good. So next thing we need to do is we need to make sure we're logged into high level. We already know that we are. We need to make sure that the snapshot is installed. So what we're going to do is go to automation, and you're going to see that the snapshots is installed because we have all these things that we need for building our bots. So that's good. The next step is we need to log into Consolidata. Consolidata is the platform that we use for building our bots. As you can see right now, it's called Bizdom Bots, but really all this is my white label reseller version of Consolidata. Okay, so we're logged into Consolidata, and then we need to log into OpenAI. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. So we're going to go into, just go to OpenAI login. And then when you go to log in, it's going to give you the choice to either log into ChatGPT, or it's going to give you the choice to log into, well, let me just show you one more time, because I want you to see this. It's going to give you the choice to log into ChatGPT or the API. For this case, we want to use API. Okay, so you click on that. And then if it's just you in the account, you'll see yourself in the top left-hand corner. But if you have clients, you'll see a whole bunch. So you can see we're logged into mine as the Lead King. To really get it to where you want to click on dashboard, and then you're ready to go. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is any bot that we make, if we want to have it ask questions and answer them, we're gonna create custom fields, right? So in this case, I like to go to ChatGPT and just ask it what I just like to ask it what types of qualifying questions for different kinds of businesses, right? So in this case, why don't we do I don't know, a home improvement company of some kind? Let's do window washing. No, let's do pest control. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT I own a pest control company and I'm generating leads. Please provide me with 3 qualifying questions. Ask new leads. Do not include quotation marks, because ChatGPT will often give you the answer in quotation marks, right? So it says, what type of pest issue you're experiencing, how long, and are you looking for one-time treatment or ongoing? Okay, cool. So to do this, what we do is we go into high level and we're going to go to settings and we are going to go to custom fields. And then under custom fields, we have folders. This is where the questions are going to go. And in this snapshot, we have a folder that comes in the snapshot called bot questions. I like to keep them all in one place so we know they all came from the bot. And I'm going to click on bot questions. And you can see this is blank. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a field. This is where our first question is going to go. It's going to be single line. I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to just go to ChatGPT. I'm going to grab the first question. Come back. I'm going to paste it in there. And I'm going to save it. We are going to add the next question. It's going to be single line. Click next. Paste it in there. Click save. And then we're going to do the third question. So people ask me all the time, how many questions can we ask? Well, you can ask as many as you want, but I recommend no more than 3 to 4, because when a lead is going through this and they have no idea when the questions are going to end, a lot of times they will just stop answering if there's too many. So 3 to 4 seems to be the sweet spot so they don't stop. So now you can see we have all of our questions, our custom fields created. So we're going to go ahead and check that off. Now, the next thing we need to do is log into Consolidata and find our account. So in my case, I have to find my clients' accounts because I'm making them for clients. But in your case, you probably just have a Consolidata account and you just log in. So I'm going to find this account I've been using for these training videos called Demo. And I'm going to go up here to sources. And this is just where we have all of our sources here. And we're going to go back to the checklist. And then what I'm going to do is log into OpenAI and create an API key. So what you do in OpenAI is you go over here to API keys, and then you're going to create a new secret key. And down here is your different projects, right? So you can have all these different projects for different things you're doing. So if you want a project, just to organize it by different clients, different niches, whatever, you create a project, and then whatever project you use, you build your bot in that, you use your assistant in that. So let's say we're doing demo bots, your assistant's in that, and your API key will be in demo bots as well. They all have to match or else it won't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a secret key, and all you do is you give it a name. So this would be like Facebook, and then that would be it. And then you would click create secret key. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to show a secret key on the video. And then what you'll do is you go back to Consolidata, and you would just add your secret key in by click add source. You're going to click OpenAI. You're going to give it a name, and then you're going to paste in the secret key that OpenAI gives you here. And then once that is done, you will see something like this right here. Okay. So that's that. We're going to save the API key. We're going to add it to Consolidata. Now, what we have to do is we have to log into High Level using app.gohighlevel.com. You can see that I have a white label version of High Level. It's called Automations Plus. It's usually app.automationsplus.com. But for this to link up properly, you have to log into app.gohighlevel.com. You can still use your same white label, but you just use the high level domain. Okay, so obviously we're logged into app.gohighlevel.com now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect this account to Consolidata. So I already have this done from a previous training, but I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it again just so you can see me do it. So I'm going to click on High Level. And then the account we're using for this is an old test account I used called Heather Ward account. It's going to add it there. You can see that it's given this ugly name. So what I do is I click accounts. I click, just copy this, and then I paste this up here so it's easy to see. Okay. So now we can check that off. All right. So now the next thing we need to do is create a new bot agent with the prompt builder. So we're going to go up here to AI bot, text bot, and prompt builder. And we're going to create a bot agent. And we are going to call this bot, I don't know, I like Emma because that's my daughter's name. And in this case, we are calling it pest control. Always give it a name what it is too, because we're eventually going to look at this on OpenAI. Current best model right now is, well, before you do that, you have to select your API. You have to select your source. So we're using Heather Ward's account. And then over here, you can pick your model, which is the best one right now is 4.0. And then down here, you're going to say you're a highly engaging, friendly virtual assistant for, let's call it Tampa Pest Control. Your main goal is to tell information about services we offer. And then I like to put in here, ask qualifying questions and help them book an appointment. Okay. That's all good. We don't really even worry about that greeting. We're going to upload over it. And then over here, we're going to call it Tampa Pest Control. Company email will be, you can put anything you want over here because it doesn't matter. We're going to overwrite this anyway, and I'll show you why. So the only thing that matters that has to be right is this has to be a viable website, because if you do want it to scrape the website, it will scrape whatever is on this one page that you give it. And then from there, what will happen is it'll put that into a document file. But again, we're not going to use that. I'm going to explain why. But this does have to be a real website, or else it's not going to work. So I always put my own. And then about us. And again, I don't worry about any of that stuff. It's just all filler, right? Now, over here is where we import our custom fields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add Step. We're going to go all the way down here. And we're going to find what type of pest issues are you experiencing. We're going to add another one. How long? And then we're going to add the third one. Okay. And then I go back to ChatGPT and I just copy them from here. Whoops. Paste that into there. Second one. And third one. All right, so this whole thing is filled out. We're going to go ahead and click save, and it's going to create us a bot agent. What it's also going to do is create a prompt and a assistant on OpenAI for us, okay? So now we go over here and we can check that. So now back in OpenAI, you're going to see if we go up to our assistants, it is there, Emma Pest Control. So the very first thing we want to do is we're going to go down here to file search, and we want to just click on this file. I'm going to delete it. This is a file that Consolidata creates, and I don't really like it. And I found that it caused problems like searching for things. So I just remove it and I detach it from the assistant, and then I turn off file search. I do turn on code interpreter, and you're going to see why in a few moments. And then down here with temperature, we're going to move this down to 0.3. What this is like how abstract these answers from the bot can get. If you put it all the way up here, it can do something called hallucinate, where it just goes wild and makes up things. So 0.3 for like a business is perfect. Okay. And so now we've done that, we'll go back and check that off. Next thing we're going to do is copy our prompt into a text editor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab this whole entire prompt, copy this, and then I'm going to go into a text editor, paste it in. And now this is our prompt, and we need to edit this thing just a little bit. So we're going to go back over to here, and we're going to do what's called make mandatory changes. Now, every one of the different kinds of bots we make has a little bit of changes we need to make them work properly. So I have a document for this here. So we're going to click it open. And this is the one for all Facebook and Instagram. So what we do is we copy all the way from the top all the way down to step 3. We're going to copy that. And then back to our prompt here, we're going to go all the way from the top, all the way down through step 3. And I'm going to paste right over top of that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab from step 8 all the way to the bottom. Now, copying this is hard, so I just start from the bottom and I go all the way back up. Oops, step 8. And I'm going to go back over to here. I'm going to find, if there is a step 8, we copy and paste over it. If there's not, we just paste right underneath step 7. But what I messed up there was I was supposed to delete everything else, because the whole point of doing this is to delete everything that we don't like. So what I'm doing here is the prompt that comes right out of the box. It's good, it'll work, but the way I have this thing modified, it'll work a lot better. So paste this in there, and now our prompt is ready to go. So we can close this out and we can check this off. That's already been done. Now we're going to make custom edits to the prompt. If there's any custom edits that need made, for instance, if it's a real estate agent and you need to ask it, do you want to buy or sell? And then we have a different set of questions for buying and different set of questions for selling. You can make a bunch of different custom edits to the prompt. That's going to be a different training for a different day. We're just going to show the basic setup for this. So in the future, if you do want to make custom edits, that will be part of the process. So then what we're going to do is we're going to run the prompt through the Markdown code editor. What that means is we're going to take this. I'm just going to go ahead and select it all. Where is select all? There it is. And I'm going to go over here, and I've built this thing called my project management center. For everybody in my coaching group, you get this. It's basically just links I use to easily build bots. Me and my VA use it. And one of them is Markdown code. So what you're going to do is just paste this in here. And what this does is this takes the text and it converts it into what's called Markdown code. It is how the bot easily understands the code that we're making. I really don't know why. I'm not a coder, but I just know that it works better and it sets appointments better when we do it this way. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go back over to OpenAI. We're going to delete this whole prompt out of here, and we're going to paste it in after the Markdown code. And so we're going to check that off. And then the last thing we're going to do with OpenAI is if we do need to add files, this is where we're going to add them. So you would go ahead and you would add some files here. Let's say you're a gym and you have a schedule of classes, or it could be anything at all that you want the bot to pull info for. You could upload it here. And then what you do is you turn file search on. The reason we have code interpreter on is so it interprets the code in here that we posted in through that. So again, I'm not a big fan of putting files in here just because it takes a little bit longer to pull the data. So if you don't have too much stuff, what you can do is down here at the bottom, you can put some FAQs, you can put some contact info, any contextual stuff, and then you can add that to your prompt. All right. So what we want to do next is we want to create a configuration in Consolidata. So what that means is we're going to go back to Consolidata. We're going to go up to AI bot. We're going to go to text bot, and we're going to go to configuration. And we're going to create an AI chatbot. We're going to call this Emma, and it's going to be pest control. And it's going to be Heather Ward's account, and the calendar. In the snapshot, we include one calendar called bot calendar, right? I always recommend using bot calendar because it's easy to know that, hey, these appointments came from bot. So I always use that. And then I have a tag in here called stop all bots. Where is stop all bots? There it is. So what I use stop all bots for is if it is necessary to stop the bot completely for any reason, something crazy happens and people are getting upset, you just put the stop all bots tag on, it will not work anymore. Okay. Then we're going to pick available bots. It's going to be Emma Pest Control. We're going to go ahead and click save. So now you can see it's right here. Okay. So now we have created that. Now we need to copy the webhook and we're going to paste it into High Level. So what we're going to do is click this little eyeball thingy. We're going to copy this webhook. We're going to go back over to High Level. We're going to go back to our automations. And in this case, we're going to go to the Facebook bot. We're going to go to the Facebook bot trigger. And then there's two places we need to paste the webhook. Paste it right here. And you can see there is a custom value in here. I noticed that sometimes it wasn't pulling it in, so I don't even use it anymore. I just paste it directly in and I click save. and then there's another one right here. This is how the data gets back and forth between high level, Consolidata, and OpenAI, this webhook right here. And then we're going to turn this on and we're going to click save. All right, so these are all done. So now what we need to do is go to the Facebook business page and send a message to the test bot. So in this case, we are using a page called Lead King AI Bots. It's just a demo page that I made just for testing purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click message. And I believe that message, we have to delete this message. So I'm going to just say hello. And I think it's going to pop into high level here and the bot will engage, but I'm not sure. Sometimes you need to completely delete it out of your messages for it to work, but let's see what it happens. And if it does need to be deleted, we'll just start the process over. So if we go up here to contacts, you can see Russ Ward came in as a message from Facebook. And you see it says hello. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look and I'm going to see if it engaged this bot. And it does. It looks like it engaged the bot and it sent us into the follow-up. And in a moment, I'll explain how this is working as well. So if we go back to the contacts, you can see it says, hi, Russ, what type of pest issue are you experiencing? So it goes right into it, right? And so you can see on the Facebook side, it's doing that. I'm going to say, I have an infestation of ants. And then back over on high level, you're going to see that that came in, right? So just to show you what's happening here, if we go into the Facebook bot, the first time a message comes in, what happens is it comes in because someone replied to, someone said anything through Facebook Messenger. It comes down and looks for a tag. If it doesn't have the tag, it comes down here and it removes it from any other workflows. It adds a tag that it's a Facebook bot. It sends that message out to Consolidata so it can start the process of the AI. Then it adds it to the follow-up campaign. The next time through, it's going to come down this side and it doesn't need to add the tag again. And it just keeps going around and around. Now, every time somebody sends a message, it adds them to the follow-up. So what happens is, and the reason we do this is just in case they never respond to us again, they go into this follow-up. So it immediately starts to wait 4 hours. And then after 4 hours, it's going to send a message. After 4 hours again. Not sure why that's happening. It's going to keep sending messages. It does this for up to 13 days worth if they don't reply. And then it's going to loop them all the way back to the beginning and keep on sending. Now, these messages are very generic. It's just designed to keep the conversation going. You can go in here and you can change all these if you want to, but I find generic works just fine. And then every time somebody replies, it's going to kick them back over here to the trigger. And this goes back and forth until they finally get over here and they book an appointment with the bot. And then what happens is this removes them from all workflows because they did what we wanted them to do and they booked an appointment, right? So back over here, the bot has replied, got it. Ants can be quite party crashers. How long have you been dealing with this issue? I'm going to say about 2 weeks. And then if we go back to our contacts and high level, go back to me. We're just going to kind of wait for the reply in here. And in terms of times of replies, right? Some people ask me, can we speed this up? Can we slow it down? We can never speed it up. We can slow it down by putting a wait in there. But the response times it can be a lot of reasons. It can be a high level issue. It can be an OpenAI latency issue. It can be all types of things. So sometimes the replies are really fast. Sometimes they're really slow. It's kind of like human-like though, because if you think about it, right, humans aren't always replying instantly. But in this case, it's taking a little bit longer than I usually see this taking. So when it's a little bit longer, I always go back and I just make sure that everything's working fine, right? So you can see that it's in this trigger phase right now. And what it's doing is it's not moving through the workflow as quickly as it's supposed to. It's supposed to just fly right through the workflow. You see the last time the webhook was executed. And by the way, guys, if you ever have an issue where the bot's just not working, you go into here to execution logs and you see what's going on in here. And that's how I troubleshoot everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push this one through just because I don't know why it's being slow today. I'm going to move it through to the next step. And what that should do is just move it on to the next step. I'm not sure. Sometimes high level can be slow. Sometimes OpenAI can be slow. And of course, since I'm making this training video, it's being a little bit slow right now. And I think I'm going to hit refresh on this. It's good that you're seeing this too, because when you're building bots, you're going to see all types of things. You're going to have to troubleshoot things. It's just a wide variety of problems that can come up while you build bots. And so you always just want to be conscious that nothing is ever going to happen perfectly when you're building bots. It's just a rule of life. You're going to have to test it. You're going to have to troubleshoot it. I've been doing this for months, and I just find all these different things. So you can see that now that I pushed it through, the webhook went through. So now we should be awaiting a reply. Now in real life, when these are happening in real life, you're not going to be doing this, right? We're just doing this for testing and demo purposes. And you can see that we got a reply. So it says, thanks for sharing. You looking for a one-time, I don't know, let's talk about it when you get here. So it just asked if I was looking for a one-time treatment or ongoing, right? So those are just the qualifying questions that we put in there. Now, what I do want to show you is that we have the qualifying questions over here. You see it saved them, right? So it saved 2 questions so far, and it's going to save the third if we hit refresh on this. It hasn't saved the third one yet because it doesn't have the reply. So let's go back down to automation, and I think it's still hanging up. And normally it wouldn't be doing this. No, it didn't. It went out. So we are just waiting for the reply. And then the only thing we're waiting for at this point is for the answer from the AI, because you can see if we go back to the trigger and then we go into the execution logs, what we're always looking for to make sure everything worked out was that the webhook went out. If you always see the webhook went out and it was green, that means that everything's working well. Okay, so over here, it's going to say, no problem, we can discuss that when you visit. What's your time zone? Now, here's the thing with time zones. If it is a nationwide company, we want to use time zone. If it is not, what you can do is you can just delete the time zone option from the prompt. And so what you'll do down here is right here on step 1 of booking instructions, you say always ask for their time zone. If you don't want to ask for their time zone, what you'll do is you'll just delete everything up to ask, and then the second line down there, and you say something like always assume the time zone is whatever, right? Eastern Daylight Time where I am. And then say, do not share this with them unless they ask. The reason you say that, because sometimes if you tell it not to assume the time zone, sometimes it'll just tell them the time zone. It'll say, hey, you're in Eastern Daylight Time. What time works best? We don't want it to do that. So we tell them not to share this. Okay. All right. So now we can say, what's your time zone? So in this case, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to say Eastern Daylight Time. And then over here, if we go back to contacts, we go back to me, we should see that all 3 questions are answered. That's very important. That's one of the biggest reasons we test these things, is because we want to make sure that it's asking the correct questions, it's saving the answers properly, and we're also getting the contact info, and then it's booking the appointment. You never want to deliver a bot to a client unless you have completely tested everything. And if there's any problems, you revamp the prompt, you go through and you test it again. Okay, so what's the best phone number to reach you at? I'm going to give it a phone number. And then the next question should be email address. Now, if you don't want to ask the email address, you don't have to. You could go down here and you could say step 3, ask for the email. You just delete the email, and then you can just change the steps accordingly. Some people like to ask for email addresses, some don't. But if you don't, you just take it out of the prompt. And now we're waiting for it to come back and ask us for the email address. And anytime this stuff isn't automatic when I'm testing, I always go back into the prompt, and you can see once again it's stuck at this trigger, but it looks like it unstuck itself and it executed. So now it should be good to go here in a moment. And now it's asking for the email address. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to say support@theleadking.com. And then what you're going to notice over here is it did save the phone number, which is good. That's what we wanted to do. And now the next thing we're going to expect it to do is to save the email address, and then it's going to get into the appointment booking part. So the goal of this thing is to get the answers to our qualifying questions. It is to get the contact info, and then it's to get them booked on the calendar. Okay. And then I'm just going to take a look at the automations one more time. See, we're in the follow-up sequence. So that means that the bot trigger worked, and we're just waiting for the reply from OpenAI. And you can see that it did update the email address as well. So very good. And then it says, okay, Chris, which day works best for your appointment? If you prefer the next available slot, just let me know. So I'm going to say, how about Friday? Now, the reason why we set appointments like this and doing it in this way is because when we were doing cold calling, we noticed that if we ask them for a day, they'll usually tell us a day. You could also say, does today or tomorrow work better for you? That would work as well. But when we ask them 2 questions, morning or afternoon, or these 2 times, people tend to answer and they don't get frustrated and cancel. So it says, would you prefer morning or afternoon? I'm going to say afternoon. And now here it's going to give me 2 different options for afternoon. I tell the bot, give me 2 choices. I don't want to say, well, what time works best for you? Because they might say, well, I have to check with my wife. I have to check my calendar. No, dude, we have these 2 choices. Which one of them works for you? And if one of them doesn't work for you, they will actually tell you, hey, that one does not work for me. And it says we have 2 openings on Friday, 2 or 3. I'm going to say, let's go with 3. I accidentally fat fingered that and said 34. So I'm kind of interested in how it's going to deal with that. It might come back and ask me for clarification. It might not. And I just want to go down here and check one more time. It's in the follow-up, so it's good. Let's see what it comes back with. It seems like there might be a mix-up. Yep, so look at that. It noticed that I messed up, so I'm going to say 3. These AI bots are really smart, guys. Whatever questions you ask them, it can usually answer them pretty well. But if you specifically want it to answer certain things, you could go down here and you do contact info. Put your contact info down there. Do FAQ. Put your FAQ down there. And then any other info, you put all that in there. If it's going to be super, super long, ton of stuff, sometimes that'll overwhelm the bot because it needs to look at that every time it runs through. You might want to consider uploading a PDF file to OpenAI. But like I said, I prefer to do it in the prompt itself if it's just a little bit of information because it's much faster to access it. Okay, so thanks, Russ. Your appointment is set for Friday at 3. Looking forward to seeing you then. Okay, great. So a couple things I want to show you here is if we go into here, you're going to see that we have all the contact info. We have all the things saved. You always want to make sure you see this, right? This means that the appointment was actually booked. You can see this one says 12 p.m. because we did a 3 p.m. Eastern. So this account just happens to be a Pacific time. So what it does is it translates it to the account owner. And in this case, this high-level account is a Pacific time. So it translated it to 12 p.m., but it has a 3 p.m. Now, we have this other workflow. And I don't have it activated in here, but if you want to use it, it's called Appointment Confirmation Plus Reminders. And what you do is you can set it up so what you have to do is you have to set it in a calendar and then you pick your calendar, right? So it'll be bot calendar. So you can set it so when anytime an appointment is booked in here, it'll send you an internal notification. You just put your phone number there. You don't have to edit all this stuff. You can move it to a new pipeline stage if you have that. You can set them an appointment reminder. That's a text message that goes out, email reminder. And then 24 hours before, you can do an email, 1 hour before an email, and then 10 minutes before you can do an SMS. So all this stuff will need to be edited, but just know that that's there. And then you can send out appointment reminders. That's there for you. Okay. So as you can see, this thing worked properly. Looks really good. And if you do want to retest it again at some point, what you have to do is you have to go in here and you have to delete your contact. And then you have to go back to your messages and you have to completely delete the message and start over fresh. Okay. So that is how you do a Facebook bot. And if you need any help with that, just post in the group and we will be happy to help you.